What is the worst movie you've ever seen? No, I'm not talking about Grown Ups 2 or Transformers 2. I mean a movie so bad, so fundamentally broken, that it leaves a pit in your stomach or makes you feel frustrated and angry beyond any reasonable measure. This is a question I've been asking myself for a while, and I think it's about time to do something about it. So I've pulled up the list of the bottom 100 lowest rated movies on IMDb, and I'm going through them one by one to find the worst movie ever. Welcome to the search for the worst. The Bat People is the worst thing in the history of anything ever. In fact, I think it might be the biggest fraud of a movie ever made. There are plenty of bats and plenty of people, but there certainly ain't bat people. Plural. There's one guy who sort of turns into a bat, but also doesn't really. Anyway, I hope you're a fan of stock footage and multiple close-ups of bats, because that's how this picture starts. IMDb claims that this movie is a horror, and I know it was made in 1974 when different things were probably considered scary, but I'd beg to differ. It's more of a comedic drama with slight horror elements than anything, and the comedy factor is not intentional, mind you. The movie ends up being so predictable that it turns right back around into being completely unpredictable. But most of all, if I had to describe this movie with one simple word, it would be boring. Actually, I use that word far too much in this series. How about dull, uninteresting, humdrum, tiring, mundane, stale, tedious? Take your pick, because it's all of these things. B-O-R-I-N-G. Boring. I'm so sick of these "they're so bad that they're bad" boring movies. It's actually making me miss things like Birdemic or The Room. At least those movies are fun to point at and laugh.
Stop ganging up on me!
So these assholes are our main characters, Dr. Bat and wife of Dr. Bat. What is he a doctor of, you might be asking? Well, I don't really know, because for the first 5 minutes or so they wander around the desert looking for bats, saying that it's important for the doctor's work.
Is it so important?
Well, of course not. It's just my work.
But then later on they keep saying that because he's a doctor, he should know everything about the biology of humans as well.
There's nothing for you to be concerned about.
Nurse, I'm a doctor. I am concerned.
It's also interesting to note that Dr. Bat and wife of Dr. Bat are actually married in real life, which was genuinely surprising to me, seeing as they're so awkward, stiff, and have absolutely no chemistry whatsoever.
So, our honeymoon was getting a little dull anyway.
By the way, this guy isn't actually called Dr. Bat in the movie, but he might as well have been, and I can't remember his real name, so that's what I'm going to call him. So it turns out that it's actually these assholes' honeymoon, and that's why they're in the desert.
This weekend is also supposed to be an overdue honeymoon.
And he's all like, all I need to do now is to go to a cave that has bats in it to complete my work. But she's like, but it's our honeymoon. Why the fuck would we do that now? And he's like, I guess you're right. But then she turns around and says, well, seeing as it's so important to your work, I suppose we can go to the cave that's filled with bats. So they go on some kind of cave tour, and Dr. Bat immediately forgets about his important bat work that we don't understand in favor of making out with his wife in the caves. Except they wander off and get lost, falling into some pit that has loads of mites and creatures in it. Then out of nowhere, a bat flings down from the ceiling and bites Dr. Bat on the head. And so begins the unexplained, bizarre, moronic, idiotic, nonsensical descent of Dr. Bat turning into a bat people. Doesn't this premise sound so fun? Like it could be a really cheap version of American Werewolf in London, but with a guy that turns into a bat instead of a werewolf. Just dumb fun. Well, you're in for a big surprise for what this really is, I tell you what. By the way, the surprise is that it sucks. So to establish that the bat forehead bite is doing something to Dr. Bat, we get a bunch of scenes of him trying to do what Frodo did in Lord of the Rings. You know when you do that crazy shit with your eyes to make you look like you're being affected by something? But instead he just looks like a bad actor flicking his eyes up into his head to establish the start of a bat transformation.
Johnny, what's wrong?
So the newlywed couple have a lovely old time skiing around in the snow. Wait. What the fuck? How did they get here? They were just in the desert a second ago. So while they're sat in some jacuzzi hot tub things, Dr. Bat accidentally smashes his beverage in his hand and cuts it to shit. So he goes to the doctor and gets a bandage and mentions, oh yeah, doc, I got bit by a bat right on the head. Should probably I should probably do something about that, shouldn't I? You know you can get rabies from bat bites, right? Oh. I'm going to turn into a bat, aren't I? You certainly are. So to prevent the rabies, they inject some kind of serum into the guy's peanut. Then the doc gives it a good feel. Not really sure why he feels that this is necessary, but I guess he's the doctor, not me. Unfortunately for Dr. Bat, he has some kind of allergic reaction to the anti-rabies shot, so he freaks out. And it's ultimately a completely and utterly pointless scene. Hey doc, I'm worried about my husband. I fear that he might be turning into a bat or something. What? Leave me alone, I'm trying to ski over here. So in the middle of the night, Dr. Bat's hands turn into weird, freaky human bat hand things, and for no reason at all, accidentally kills a nurse that he comes across. I guess it's because bats are so famous for killing people and having a thirst for murder. Wait, but Wikipedia says that most bats are fruit eaters. So why isn't he murdering fruit? When he wakes up in the morning, he asks the nurse why she looks so glum. Well, you see, a giant bat person accidentally killed the night nurse. I'm turning into a bat person because I was bitten on the head by a bat, aren't I? Yep. From now on, Dr. Bat is a colossal twat to his wife for no reason.
For once in your life, just do what the hell I ask. Can't you see I'm in trouble?
The doctor says you're doing fine.
I guess it's that famous bat anger controlling him. What is happening in this movie? Next, we're introduced to my least favorite character to ever be depicted in a movie. It's this sheriff guy. Not only is he the biggest fucking idiot to ever grace the planet, but he too is a huge prick. He's investigating the nurse hospital death and somehow gets involved with Dr. Bat and incessantly follows him around and assaults his wife when he's not there. So in the middle of the night, being a really clever bat doctor and everything, knowing that something weird is clearly happening to him, decides to sneak out of his house and kill some girl. This music is so unfitting for what's happening. I thought it was supposed to be scary, but it's comedic. This is the sort of shit I listen to when I'm editing. Then the sheriff shows up and asks, "Hey, you don't happen to be turning into a bat and killing people in the middle of the night, do you?" "No?" "Okay, I'll see you next time you turn into a bat and murder someone." So instead of the Bat Doctor using his bat knowledge to face the challenges before him, he decides that he needs a psychiatrist because he's been imagining all of it.
This isn't happening. It's in my mind. It's in my mind.
And for some unexplained reason, he flees the hospital out of an open window, then steals an ambulance. Then there's a really uninteresting car chase with the sheriff, because this horror movie really needed an action sequence. Darn it, he got away a bat again. A bat again. Damn it, can't even get my bat puns right. Not even a pun. Not even a pun. Doesn't even make any sense. This is a bat-tastrophe. After wandering around in the desert for a while, Dr. Bat finds some homeless man who's living in a shed. Then, surprisingly, he turns into a bat and kills him. Hey, are you noticing something? Have you noticed that we're an hour into the movie and the most we've seen of any type of bat person is his weird hands and a couple of close-ups on his eye? Well, I guess this is because it's all building up to a big satisfying reveal in the last 30 minutes. I suppose I can forgive that. With the sheriff hot on his trail and constantly only one step behind Dr. Bat, he decides to take refuge in the cave where he got bitten in the first place. Why is he even bothering to sneak around? Oh, because he's covered in blood. Okay, I understand, movie. This is when the sheriff spots Dr. Bat's wife walking around at night, offers to drive her home, then lets himself into her house and assaults her. I can't figure out if this was an attempt to make him the villain of the movie for some reason, but we've already got a villain in our main character. He's straight up murdering people. What's the point of this scene? No, really, what is the point? After Batman aimlessly wanders around the cave system for a while, looking like a completely regular dude, not even half or even quarter bat person at this point, he steals someone else's car and sneaks into the hospital to grab some rabies shots. What I don't really understand is why he's becoming a murderer, because he's turning into a bat. Like he's some kind of animal, but he still looks like a human and looks mostly human. It just looks like his hands are kind of bat hands, but they're still human. Oh no, they're not even bat hands anymore. What the hell is happening in this fucking movie? It was at about this point where it was fully reaffirmed to me that this guy is the biggest idiot in the universe, and I no longer care about anything he does or what happens to him. An unlucky nurse wanders in and he assaults her, asks her to kill him, I think, but then he just finds what I guess is supposed to be a sachet of blood, but is clearly some tasty fruit juice. Why is he doing this? Then because the sheriff has the ability to teleport, he's conveniently already in the hospital to try to... I don't fucking know, something. Dr. Bat decided it might be a good idea to put his wife in danger as well, by sneaking into their house and standing in the dark. And she's all like, blah blah blah, we can get you help. And he's like, well no, I'm kind of turning into a bat. I'm pretty fucked. Then they have sex, which is a great idea, because I'm pretty sure it's insinuated that Dr. Bat transfers his bat ailment to her this way. He turns kind of into a bat again, but not really, which scares her. Then he fucks off back to the cave. Luckily, the sheriff had enough of his teleport ability left to follow Dr. Bat into the cave, where we finally, once and for all, get the reveal of what Dr. Bat looks like when he is indeed a bat people. Now, was that worth the build-up? No. Not at all. So they have a little fight, which ends in the sheriff getting away somehow, who, instead of calling reinforcements, or telling anyone really, picks up Dr. Bat's wife and drives back to the cave at night. Then, I think this is what happens. 40 million bats attack the car and splat themselves on the windshield. They crash the car, lady gets out, and the sheriff gets eaten alive by bats. Then she walks into the cave, presumably being controlled by some kind of bat magic, or because she's turning into a bat. I really don't know. What I do know is that this is the end of the movie, though. Never even get to see the Bat People again. I can't even get angry at this shit anymore. Oh wait, I totally can. Fuck you, movie. I think this might be the most because movie I've ever seen. I don't mind having to turn off my brain for stupid body horror movies, but at least give me the bare essentials to enjoy the story. Every twist and turn is met by a why? Or what? What is going on? Which is ultimately the biggest flaw with this picture. A premise like this could have been an awesome dumb B-movie, but the lazy effects, nonsensical plot, and boring scenes add up to a completely forgettable movie. It was hard for me to stay awake during the hour-and-a-half running time. I always say that a boring movie that has nothing is worse than a movie that actually makes you feel something. And again, it's another one of these fucking middling, stupid, tiresome piece of shit movies. It's actually more entertaining to go to the IMDb page than to actually watch it, especially if you go to the weird pictures. Not only does the poster straight up lie, but this one here has Dr. Bat pulling his wife's dress down and holding her boob. Now where's that movie? Wait, what the fuck? Why is this in here? It's Alive 1, 2, and 3. This has nothing to do with anything.
And up next in the search for the worst is...
Oh, fuck. The Bat People. More like the huge lie of a movie, people. So how bad did this look to you? Maybe it looked good in your eyes, or maybe you've already seen it before. Either which way, tell me what you think in the comments section below. Remember to check out my initial viewing of this piece of shit movie by clicking the annotation or link in the description. And as always, thanks for watching. All comments and ratings are very much appreciated. Make sure you check out my other videos and other channel, Jar Media, for more content. I'll see you next time. Bye!